It's Sunday, November 30th, and I'm about to take out a brand new Kawasaki KLX230s 2025, which I just picked up from the Red Bluff Motorsports dealer today. All I've done is check the tire pressures, make sure they're okay, it's got gas, check the oil, and I really haven't tried to adjust anything else, and I'm living dangerous. I'm not bringing tools. I just want to get a quick ride in, and yeah, if things go bad, then hopefully I'll have cell phone service and call for help. And you look at the odometer, it says 0 miles. It'll never show that again. They actually got the clock set for me. That's good. 1:49 in the afternoon. I'm probably going to ride maybe 30-40 minutes, probably no more. Got an ABS switch there to disable it. There we go. Now it's disabled. Had to sit there and hold it. Now it's enabled. Okay, see how that works. I'll leave the ABS on for the moment. I have no idea just where the clutch engagement point is going to be, and the brakes and all the rest of that. And again, they're not adjusted quite where I would want them. But at the moment, I don't care. Like I said, if it had clean oil in it, should. I mean, it's brand new. Chain tension looked okay, and it was oiled as it should be, or looked okay. It feels much smaller than my old KLX300, which I wanted it to. It's not particularly light. It weighs just about as much as a KLX300. This is the ABS model, which costs a little bit more, but I got a good deal on it. I guess I dickered a little harder than usual on it, but the price was good. And I don't really care about ABS on a dual sport, but it's got it, and you might help it if I ever get to the point of selling it. If, probably when I sell it, but you know, who knows how long I'll keep this bike. Haven't done a thing to the suspension. And of course, everybody always talks about how the KLX230s, 24, 25, the suspension is too soft, but it's always these 200-pounders that test it. It doesn't feel soft to me at all at this point. We'll see as time goes on. And of course, these cables get right in front of the speedometer. I knew that. Brakes work. I heard the brakes are a little bit on the weak side, but you know, I'll use them like they are for a while. If it bothers me enough, I can do things to try to improve the brake feel. Brake and clutch lever don't have an adjustable reach. That's one of the early things I'll probably change and do something about that. Currently, I'm heading towards the North Shore Road to go besides Lake Siskiyou for a little bit, and then up some dirt roads. I'm not going to do that whole Eddie's Loop, but I'm just going to ride up there a little ways. I don't want to ride real far. It's about 45, 46 degrees out. I don't have hand guards on this to get the wind off my hands. And of course, I don't have heated grips and a heated seat. Okay, this is kind of a simple motorcycle. Got a gas gauge on it. I guess that's kind of nice. I don't know that it's going to be very accurate, though. It's got a place where there could be a gear indicator on the dash, but there is no gear indicator. That's something I already knew from reviews on the bike. One of the things I'll be curious about is the bars feel okay just sitting here and riding it, but what will they feel like when I stand up? I usually change out the bars. I mean, these are just the stock kind of cheap steel bars that bend real easy. On the other hand, if the positioning on them seems okay, I'll just leave them and use them. I changed the bars on the KLX300. I put some Pro Taper CR high bend bars on it, which I liked a lot. I wanted them a little higher, and of course much stronger bars. It's a good thing I checked the tire pressures. The front and rear looked like they hadn't been aired up since they set the bike up and put it on the showroom floor, which was, I think, quite some time ago. Okay, that's first gear. First gear is quite low. which is good. That means maybe I'm not going to have to gear this thing down. You would think with this S lowered model that they would be aiming it towards lightweight people, and I think they are, but they still usually make the suspensions a little stiffer than they have to be for somebody like me. So I'm standing up. I mean, the bars seem a little low, but they're not horrible. Gonna have to ride a little bit more before I make any call on that, but I may use them for a while. First time or two I drop it though, the bars will get bent. That's just what they do. Of course, I never drop a motorcycle. Har. Not keeping track of gears. I have no idea what gear I'm in right now, but just kind of putting along. Pretty quiet, like I would expect for a stock muffler, which I don't plan to change. Now, just about all the reviews that I read about people actually riding these bikes, they were always the 2023 or earlier. And in 24, they changed the S model. They actually raised it up a little bit higher, gave it a little more suspension travel than the 23 and earlier KLX230s. And I mean, it's way too early for me to make any judgment calls on the suspension. Seems to be going over stuff okay. Now, where I'm going right now is kind of where I would start out in that long Eddies loop, where it had some pretty gnarly roads, or forest roads, I should say, that I never wanted to take the Tiger on. The KLX300 did very well on them. I'm sure this would do well on them also. But I don't plan to do that today. This is the first test ride, and I'm not going to do anything quite that hard. And it seems like this has about 17 or 18 horsepower, and the KLX had about 27. So it's got a lot less, but they've got it set up so most of the power comes at really low RPMs for putting along, which is all they ever did for the most part on the KLX300 anyway. So I think the power on this should be pretty good for me. Certainly feels good at the moment, just for putting along here. The stock tires on this are moderately aggressive knobbies. I like that. I'm not sure I'm going to have to change anything on the tires. But again, I got to ride it a bit first, kind of make my mind up what I think about them. And I'm not going to push anything hard enough today to make any real judgment. The only suspension adjustment this motorcycle has is the rear preload. There's no compression rebound on the fork or the rear shock, which the KLX300, it had all that, which was good. I could spend a lot of time kind of tuning it, which is not going to happen on this bike, but we'll see how well it feels, just stock. I don't think it's going to feel soft to me. I think hopefully it's going to feel about right. If I had to guess, I would say I'm probably in third gear. So let's find out. Second gear. No, I was in fourth gear. Whoa, this sucker is geared low. At least the first four gears are. There's... Okay, first gear. Woo! Yeah, first gear is a creeper. That's good. Second gear is probably a pretty good choice for a lot of trail and forest road riding. I'm going pretty slow, and third gear is doing just fine. If I can spot it, there's a very short little single track trail right around here, somewhere close. I might have a go at that. Again, the reason I sold and quit riding the KLX300 is because my knee just wouldn't allow it. Now that I've got a rebuilt knee, it's a new ball game. Again, I don't want to jar it, so I'm not going to really go fast at any time. It's just more just kind of putt around. I don't think I'm going to feel the need, but if I felt like I wanted to lower a little bit, it would be easy. Just raise the forks a little bit in the triple clamps and take some preload off the rear shock. And the rear shock feels, I don't know, it feels like I could soften it up a little bit, which would lower it some. I still don't really have a feel for the gear I'm in. I'm thinking I'm in third or even fourth. I mean, this thing can really put along slowly. Now, one of the complaints I heard about the 230S, but this was all on 23 and earlier bikes, was that the idle on it was a little bit fast. A trail I was looking for is right there. I have not been on this trail since I quit riding my KLX, and that was a long time ago. I should be standing up, but you know what, I'm just not going to at this point. People have been riding here, and I really don't want to wind up in the gully down there. It's a long ways down. So I'm guessing some of those hardcore dirt bike folks that were back there and other places out here are willing to ride this, even though it's fairly easy. Yeah, this trailer was torn up a bit. People have been gassing it and going faster here. Now, first gear on this is extremely low. I'm not going to be changing up the gearing on this like I did to the KLX. I don't have a skid plate on this bike yet, and this trail doesn't look like it's really going to need one, but that's something that I'm going to have to do fairly soon. At this point, looks like there are new trails in here that didn't used to be here before. I have no idea where I am. At some point, I'll intersect a forest road again. And I am not going down there. It spins up the rear tire just fine. Boy, this thing is low geared. Now, where am I going? I think there's a road up there. Like I say, this has changed a lot in over a year and a half, whatever, since I rode out here. So, back to the road. That's enough single track for my first ride on this. I did not stand up at all. I was not feeling real confident about what I was doing. Like everything, we haven't done it in quite a while. Of course, when you're younger, you don't lose as much. But I know for me, when I don't do things for a while, I lose a lot. It's kind of hard to get back into it. And I'm thinking I am going to want a little taller bars, so those Pro Taper CR high bend bars again are probably on the menu. If I go left, that takes me down to the river. And this takes me up to where you start into that Eddie's Loop, which I'm not going to go very far. Now, I'm sure this bike has a kickstand kill switch on it. Haven't taken that off, but you start bumping around too much, and typically something like that will start killing your motor when you're going over rough terrain. Just like everything, I just need to ride this bike the way it is for a while and see what I think about it. I don't want to just jump into changing everything for no good reason. No, the for sure things that it has to have will be hand guards, just protect the levers and keep the wind off my hands. And it has to have a skid plate. But for just poking around on roads like this, I think the gearing on this and the power is delightful. It's very nice. Now I'm going a little further than I thought I would, but I'm kind of curious to see what I see. Okay, here's where it kind of gets a little trickier, but I can't stand it. I got to go through this part. And as I've said before, typically you stand up through stuff like this, but I am very much out of practice. Oh man, this bike, just going up this so easy, 10 miles an hour, and I'm not in first, I would guess I'm in second gear. For all I know, it could be third, but I'll bet it's second. Anyway, this is kind of the first rough section. I think once it levels out just a little bit right up here, I'm going to turn around and go back. Like right about here. I thought I was in second. Nope. I was revving it up a little more and I was in first, which is fine. Yeah, it wasn't too bad turnaround. I mean, I didn't just do a nice little U, but I'm not ready for that yet. So that's first gear, 6 miles an hour. So that a tachometer, with the KLX had a 300, I had a tachometer, which made it a little easier to see just how low an RPM you could chug along with. But I'll get a feel for this. I'm doing 6 miles an hour right now, and it could go a little slower. I think the suspension's okay on this. It's not as long travel, of course, as the KLX300, and not quite as plush. So it doesn't soak up the stuff quite as well, but I should be standing up too. That's part of the issue. But I know I've gone back and forth around all sorts of things to explore these forest roads with, and I was thinking about the Honda Minimotos and a Monkey or something like that. And this is so much better than a Monkey would be. I mean, it's got larger diameter wheels, a lot more suspension, and more power. It weighs more, but not, well, yeah, it weighs quite a bit more. I think a Monkey is around 225, 230 pounds, and this is close to 300, so. Well, when I have a little more time, I'm thinking I probably could do the Sadie's loop, go all the way around. What I just went through right there was about as hard as any of it, I think, and it wasn't hard. Of course, I went just really slow with sitting, which sitting all the way around, it would definitely give me just a wee bit saddle sore, I think. I got to get more comfortable at standing with this. And that will be easier with little taller handlebars. Okay, a bit of a test now. I am in first gear. How slow can I go before the motor flames out? Of course, I'm going downhill. 5 miles an hour is kind of pushing it. 4 miles an hour, okay. I know that KLX, after I geared it down, I could get down to almost 3 miles an hour and it would flame out. But I don't have a tachometer to watch, so this is more just kind of listening to it. 4 miles an hour, not flaming out. If I was going uphill, I don't know if it would have enough power to keep it going at this point. But anyway, 4 miles an hour. Actually, I don't think I need to re-gear this for low speed hunting around, looking at stuff. Okay, now I'm in second gear. Okay, 7 miles an hour. That's no problem in second gear. It still accelerates cleanly at 7 miles an hour. Also 6 miles an hour. And it'll accelerate from there. So yeah, I can go pretty slow in second gear with this also. Now third gear. Keeping track of them this time. 10 miles an hour. Oh, that's starting to lug a little bit. So third gear, maybe 10, 11 miles an hour. About as slow as I'd want to go. I have no idea how fast I can go in any of these gears, and again, the bike's not broken in, so got to ride it a bit before I try revving anything up. At the moment, just plunking around slow is fine. Okay, so why do I buy a motorcycle at the end of November? Just we're getting into winter, and it's going to snow, and where I am right now will probably be covered with snow. Well, for one thing, I'm sure I got a little better deal on the bike. For a second thing, it gives me something to kind of futz around with for a while, you know. I mean, the skid plate and the bars and the hand and the well, I don't want to say the bark busters or whatever for the hand grips, and maybe putting on some adjustable levers, all that. But there's obviously a number of things I can play around with on this, trying to get it dialed in the way I would like it. Not as much on suspension as I could with the KLX, but I can do just a little bit with the rear preload. That's something I haven't done yet. I think I will just putz around. I think I'm gonna lay this gently down on the ground, see how hard it is to pick it back up. Okay, now what's going on here? I don't want it to just fall over on its own. Is that ground going to be firm enough to hold it? Yeah, it looks like it. Okay, so a few more looks at the bike. Again, it's got kind of a skinny rear tire and front tire, which, you know, compared to a mountain bike, it's pretty fat, but not compared to my KLX300, what I had on that. But that's okay. I think it's going to have plenty of traction looking at those tires. Those are fairly decent knobbies. What tires are they? IRC Trails GP22R 410/18. IRC tires. I like to watch that IRC tire guy's YouTube channel. He's kind of interesting. Rich, whatever. And the front is a 275/21. And it's an IRC again. Trails GP21F. Alrighty. Now, why would you tip over a perfectly good upright motorcycle? I'm scratching my head on that one. Let's see just how heavy it feels. Got a fairly good place to grip on the side here. Yeah, kind of underneath the fender. Okay, I did it. Flat on the ground. Now then, as far as picking it up, I can back up to it like I put it down, and I think maybe I'll do that. Again, that wasn't too bad. On the other hand, I leaned it down to the slightly uphill side. And I got a bad habit when I tip these things over. Tipping it over where it falls, where you're having to lift it up from the downhill side, which obviously is harder. But that's enough for now. In short, I can lift it. No moto winch required. You know, so far this idle does not seem overly fast to me. Some people complained about that, but so far so good, no complaints. But again, just about every review I saw was on the 2023. So I'm in 6th gear going up the hill at 25, 26, and it is lugging it a little bit. It needs to be a little lower gear for this. 6th gear, 35 or so. I mean, it doesn't have much power, but it can do okay at that speed in 6th gear. 5th, 4th, 3rd. 3rd is kind of a good go-around corner speed.
Did I forget to close the garage?
Well, you made it easy on me.
So how is it all right?
I like it. It's going to take some getting used to. It's not the 300, you can tell that. But the power on it, I think, is just excellent. It's really made for going slow. First gear is a creeper, and I don't need to gear it down or anything. And it seemed to have plenty of torque going slow. So I like it. And I'm not going fast with it yet until it gets broken in. I had it up to 45 briefly, but that's about all.